You've got a business. You've got a passion. We've got a place to share it. Join us on Let's Talk Spokane.
Closer, come over and peer inside of smart design. From inspired to the buyers, the stories of them all. Let's talk of what we're seeing. Let's talk of we're a dream killer. This town's got what we're needing. Let's talk of Spokane, everyone.
Let's Talk Spokane, presented by Washington Trust Bank.
What exactly does it take to make a difference? Confidence, determination, a hunger to go above and beyond? At Washington Trust Bank, we believe that it takes all of this and more. That's why we invest in businesses that, despite it all, continue to dig deep and drive positive change. That when you've got a financial partner with 110 years of experience lending to businesses, you're ready to move forward. See how Washington Trust helps businesses like Wagstaff at watrust.com/business.
My guest is Gary Stokes, the new executive director for Friends of Seven.
Friends of KSPS, and I couldn't be more thrilled to be here.
Now, what brought you to Spokane, other than the job? But why Spokane?
Well, I was living in Birmingham, Alabama, working for the public broadcasting network there, Alabama Public Television, and I was approached by a headhunter about the possibility of looking into this job. And when you're working in the PBS system, yes, there are few legends. Patty Starkey is one of them.
Yes.
So that was a bit daunting to think about that possibility. But the more I heard about the position and the more I read about Spokane and
Sure.
living here in the Inland Northwest, it was an opportunity that I at least wanted to explore, and I was fortunate enough to survive a distinguished group of finalists.
Patty's been around for a number of years, and I think she's become a fixture. I hope you stay as long and enjoy a good stint here at KSPS. You did something very unusual a few weeks ago with Downton Abbey, which has really become quite a hit.
It's become one of the new tentpole shows for PBS, and we were fortunate enough to have the opportunity to bring it to the people here in this community.
Why was it so popular?
Well, I think when you look at it, and what I said when I was hosting the Downton Abbey Day a few weeks ago, that it appeals to everything that people love about watching television. It had the classic love triangle. It had intrigue amongst families. You have the upstairs, downstairs part of it, where
Yes.
you have the aristocrats and then you have the people who serve the aristocrats. So there was something there that everyone could get behind. And if you've ever watched any of the traditional shows, the Dallases, the Dynasties,
Right,
the Knots Landings, and you watch Downton Abbey, you can get caught up in it immediately. And for us, it was an opportunity to not only bring that program to people here, but also to use it as an opportunity to talk about some of the other quality programming that we have on KSPS.
Yes, because sometimes public television is so narrow in terms of interest, and programs like Downton Abbey, I think, open it to a lot of others. Don't you?
Well, and I agree, but I also think, too, that PBS is one of the last of the classic broadcasters.
Yes.
So many people out there have established their own niche. You have a channel for this, you have a network for that. And we're one of the few that actually still broadcast. Depending on what time of day you're watching and what you're looking for, we've got something for everyone. And I think that makes us still a great point of entry and a destination point for the average viewer.
So what's new coming up?
Well, Sherlock is coming back. And
good. My wife will be happy.
We're excited about
Yes.
that. So I think that Downton Abbey has sort of re-energized the whole genre of not only the costume drama, but also the classics.
Yes.
And the reimagining of the classics is one of those things that has everyone excited. But also, we've got a number of other things coming, not only on the national scale, but also on the local scale. We tend to do a lot of different programming at different times of the year. We're in our middle of a pledge period. And when we're doing pledge, it's always an opportunity to bring some new and unique programs. Tony Bennett's Duets is one of them. We've had another performance by Jackie Evancho on our air.
Yes,
and
saw that. It was very good.
And our friends from Celtic Thunder have a new show out, and they're going to be coming to town, and we're looking forward to having people come visit us and take advantage of the ticketing opportunities for that.
Sure. Locally, KSPS has done a good job over the years in terms of hitting some of the issues and some of the things I think of health matters. What other programs locally are you proud of and will continue with?
Well, one of the programs that I think is a crown jewel of what we do locally, and one that I don't think has gotten nearly the attention that it deserves, is a program called Northwest Profiles.
Yes.
What exactly does it take to make a difference? Confidence, determination, a hunger to go above and beyond? At Washington Trust Bank, we believe that it takes all of this and more. That's why we invest in businesses that, despite it all, continue to dig deep and drive positive change. That when you've got a financial partner with 110 years of experience lending to businesses, you're ready to move forward. See how Washington Trust helps businesses like Quarry Tile at watrust.com/business.
My name is Greg, and this is my life. At 8 years old, I started my first business selling candy. I remember seeing limousines and dreaming of someday being inside one to make it big. I climbed the ladder of success, driven by those dreams to the point of obsession, but something important was missing. I felt empty. When I came to One, I found out what it means to be truly satisfied. I found friends, real success, real purpose.
I'm a Valley resident.
And I'm from the north side.
We don't always agree on everything.
But one thing we both agree on is that we'll be voting yes on Measure 1.
Measure 1 will generate millions in revenue
without raising taxes.
It's paid for by visitors to our region
through local sales and hotel-motel taxes, not your property taxes.
It will create 800 new jobs and capture over $71 million in lost revenue. Please join us in voting yes on Measure 1.
Paid for by Citizens for Jobs Now.
What other programs locally are you proud of and will continue with?
Well, one of the programs that I think is a crown jewel of what we do locally, and one that I don't think has gotten nearly the attention that it deserves, is a program called Northwest Profiles.
Yes.
Northwest Profiles has been a fixture on KSPS for 25 years.
That long.
Now, when you think about a program on a local television station that's been around for that long, and doing that kind of work. And for us, it's particularly important because our coverage area spans Spokane and the rest of eastern Washington,
right,
northern Idaho,
yes,
western Montana,
yes,
and then up into Canada,
yes,
with almost all of Alberta and parts of British Columbia. So that's a great wide area to cover, but it's a great opportunity to tell a lot of great stories.
Sure.
And Northwest Profiles has been doing that every month for the last 25 years. So it's a great program. If you haven't had the chance to watch it, I think it's one that you should, because it tells stories that you may not know or stories that you're going to be able to share with your friends and neighbors.
It's got to make you proud, doesn't it?
Well, I love what I do. I love going to work every day.
Yes.
I love being a part of this community, and I love being able to be part of an organization that gives back.
Welcome to Spokane.
Thank you very much, Ken.
Our guest has been Gary Stokes. Thank you very much.
Yes, you can do the unthinkable. You can, despite it all, dig deep and find success. Your business can prosper and grow. At Washington Trust Bank, we believe that the unthinkable trumps the economy. That when you have a trusted financial partner that believes in you and has the right tools and loans to back your business, you can achieve the unthinkable. See how Washington Trust helps businesses like Wagstaff at watrust.com/business.
I can't wait for summer. Know why? Because summer means I get to go to Girl Scout camp. It's Camp for Echoes at Lake Coeur d'Alene, and it's seriously fun. Every year I try a different cabin theme. This year I'm going for the gazebo. You don't have to be a Girl Scout to come to Camp for Echoes. You just have to be a girl. Registration for summer 2012. Sessions is open now. Go to campforechoes.com. Hurry, some sessions fill up fast.
My name is Anne, and this is my life. I had a life that most women would envy. Married to a doctor, 2 gifted children, and the house of my dreams. But it all changed. My children graduated and moved away. My marriage ended in divorce, and someone else lives in my house. I was frightened to be alone. At One, I found people who became my family. Friends who continued to love me through all the changes. I am single, but I'm not alone.
I'm a union leader.
I'm a small business owner.
We don't always agree on everything.
But we both agree we're voting yes on Measure 1. Measure 1 will generate millions in revenue and grow our local economy without raising taxes.
It's paid for by visitors to our region through sales and hotel-motel taxes, not property taxes.
It will create 800 new jobs in our community and capture over $71 million in lost revenue.
Please join us in voting yes on Measure 1.
Help us stay competitive and create jobs.
Paid for by Citizens for Jobs Now.
Welcome back. Here's something we thought you really would enjoy.
In this case, my friend Scott Nishaw, who has Scott Graphics, is my guest. And we go back a few years. We won't talk about how many because that starts to age us a little bit. But when I first met you, you were working for another company doing graphics. And I remember it was, about almost 17 years ago, you asked me and a couple other folks, should I go out on your own? And the question I have now is, was that the right decision?
Well, and you came back with this comment about my mouth being full.
Yes.
And quit complaining with your mouth full.
Yes.
And I find my mouth full quite a bit now.
Good.
And that's a good thing. Yeah,
Yes,
it was a great decision, and it's been great for myself and my family.
Now, you're a one-man shop.
I am.
Why that versus maybe growing larger and bringing other folks in?
Well, it's a good question, and it didn't seem as relevant at the time when I made that decision. When I started my studio, I looked at the two options that were before me. One, I could stay a one-man shop, and the other, I could grow my business, bring in employees. And I, back then, even realized that if I stayed small, that even though I could offer high-level services, it didn't come with a high-level price tag, that I could have some flexibility in the pricing that I could offer. And it's even more relevant in the economy that we're in now.
Yes, yes. What's your philosophy when it comes to having an assignment from somebody who's starting a new business or needs a new logo or needs to graduate from doing their own brochure to something a little more professional? How do you go about analyzing what their real needs are?
Well, and that's a big question. I get to know their business real well. I get to know who their target market is, who they're really trying to appeal to. And my thought process is always long-term. And that if I can take good care of them, what I'm hoping for is a long-term relationship.
Sure.
So that they don't come back for just one project, but they keep coming back and coming back. And I have clients that have started out with nothing more than an idea who now have franchises all over the country.
Wow.
And so, and I enjoy being a part of that. It's exciting to see that kind of thing. I like helping other people succeed. And I kind of liken myself to a tailor, in that businesses, at any point, really, even more so today, they are in job interviews every day. And so
with their look and branding.
That's right. Yeah, it's like going to a job interview. Do you wear a nice suit of clothes or do you wear jeans and a T-shirt? And so what I do is I like to dress them up in a nice suit of clothes, and they feel good about themselves and who they are and what they're presenting to the public or to their customers, and their customers respond accordingly. So it's something I take a great deal of pride in and enjoyment when I see their businesses succeed.
Right.
And they're...
Tell me about one that really excited you, that you were really pleased when you... I know you're pleased with them all, but anything in the community that you can think of that...
Well, probably one of the highest profile logos that I've done is Mount Spokane. And being a skier, and I have been a skier since I was 18, that was just a labor of love to be able to produce their logo, and it's had a good deal of staying power, is now a very recognizable mark in the Spokane
I was going to say, it's been out there for a number of years.
Yeah, it's been around quite a while now, and so that was enjoyable.
And then isn't it fun when they say, that's it? You got it?
Well, and you bring up, you remind me of an instance, and maybe this is the one you were trying to bring to my mind, Southside Senior Activity Center, where, and that was an interesting project because design isn't always an easy process. Sometimes it's the proverbial blood from the rock.
Yeah.
And
design by committee is even more fun.
Well, that is definitely a complicating factor. But the design that I ended up presenting, I hit on the idea 15 minutes before I had to leave for the meeting, and was able to get it down in essence enough to the point where I could present it. And out of 3 different options, it was the overwhelming favorite. And then their next suggestion was to present it to the members of the senior community that were members at this organization. And so I was able to get up in front of the group, 150 members, with my easel board, and I had a cover over the page. And when I presented it, the whole room en masse gasped. Oh, just like that.
Yeah.
And everyone just absolutely fell in love with it. I felt like retiring on the spot, going out on a high note. And so, so it was great. It was a great experience, and that's been a number of years ago. They still use it. In fact, it's in metal on the side of the building, so I don't think it's going anywhere for a while.
No.
So
thank you. You do great work. I've
Thank you,
used
Ken.
you for my graphics for the 17 or 18 years, and appreciate all you've done with my clients and for my clients. And it's Scott Nishaw with Scott Graphics. Give him a call.
Let's not go Spokane, everyone.
What exactly does it take to make a difference? Confidence, determination, a hunger to go above and beyond? At Washington Trust Bank, we believe that it takes all of this and more. That's why we invest in businesses that, despite it all, continue to dig deep and drive positive change. That when you've got a financial partner with 110 years of experience lending to businesses, you're ready to move forward. See how Washington Trust helps businesses like Quarry Tile at watrust.com/business.
I'm Doug Toon, Spokane native, and I started Jewelry Design Center 35 years ago. Spokane had a vision in 1974 to bring Expo here. We all need to work together to attract more conventions and events to Spokane. The tourist industry impacts us all, not just hotels and restaurants, but we all win with out-of-town dollars. Please join me in voting yes on Measure 1. Help us stay competitive and create jobs. Paid for by Citizens for Jobs Now.
For 35 years, TESH has been serving individuals with disabilities, children, adults, and families facing developmental and intellectual challenges, mental health issues, and acquired challenges. TESH offers professional and caring programs in a safe and loving environment that positively impact lives through child development, independent living, and employment and training. Learn more about TESH at TESHINC.com or call Holly at 208-765-5105. The TESH Difference, transforming lives and enriching our community.
Yes, you can do the unthinkable. You can, despite it all, dig deep and find success. Your business can prosper and grow. At Washington Trust Bank, we believe that the unthinkable trumps the economy. That when you have a trusted financial partner that believes in you and has the right tools and loans to back your business, you can achieve the unthinkable. See how Washington Trust helps businesses like Quarry Tile at watrust.com/business.
You've got a business. You've got a passion. You've got a story to tell, and we have a place to share it. You are the message. You are the story. Let's talk, Spokane.
Let's talk Spokane, everyone. Let's talk Spokane, everyone.
My guest now is Dr. Aaron Elliott, who specializes in dentistry and a special device for sleep apnea. And you're with the Post Falls Family Dental.
That's right.
And what does that mean? When you say family, at what age to what age?
We see anywhere from 3 to 103.
All right.
We see them all.
There's been a lot of talk recently about young kids in terms of drinking items that have sugar in them.
Yeah, we see a lot of what we call baby bottle tooth decay.
Okay.
And it can be from too much use of milk in the bottle past a year old.
Okay.
But most of the destruction we see is actually from sippy cups.
Okay,
And
interesting.
even watered down juice still has sugar.
Sure.
And-
So what can parents with young kids today do to prevent that?
Really, it's educating, making sure that their sugar intake is low.
Okay.
And if they do juice just with meals, it's really important to look at what they're snacking on. It's what we do throughout the day that's going to cause the most damage.
Right. What about prevention for older adults now? What are you looking at? What happens there? What should they do?
Well, as we get older, we
Yes.
usually get on more medications for, high blood pressure or whatever it may be.
Right.
And our saliva slows down. And
Okay.
saliva is really the best mouth rinse we have out there.
Is it really?
And so throughout the day, our saliva is supposed to cleanse the plaque and neutralize our acids and remineralize the teeth. But when that slows down, we don't have that. So we really work on oral hygiene, even throughout the day, not just morning and night. And also remineralizing the teeth with things as fluoride or MI paste and different medications we have.
Because oftentimes you don't really know the consequence of these youth and middle-aged activities until you reach my age, when then the
Catches up
cavities
with
and the,
ya.
and the crowns and everything else
Yep.
become a quarterly
Well,
issue.
a small filling usually becomes a bigger
Yes.
filling and a bigger filling and then a crown.
Yes,
so
yes.
that's the natural progression.
Now, you do something kind of special for something that I've been through, and that's the sleep apnea. And I took the sleep test a couple years ago and went through that process. And talk to me about that.
Well, about 3 years ago, I've always been fascinated by sleep. I'm a sleeper. I really enjoy my sleep.
Not on the job, I hope.
No.
Okay.
I'm always rested. I am a true morning person. But I found it's interesting how, a lot of my friends and parents' friends, how they function with not getting good rest.
Yes.
And so I started looking into it a little bit more and went to a course, and my dad, who's a dentist, actually went with me.
Nice.
And we learned all about how dentists can help patients with
Yes.
sleep apnea. Not only do we screen for it for people who, because it's very underdiagnosed.
How do you screen for it?
Well, when a patient comes in to me for their normal exam, we do ask about snoring now.
Okay.
And in addition, we have a whole list of their medical history.
Okay.
We can see if they've had past heart attacks or if they're on high blood pressure medication, diabetes medication. And then I can see some, in the mouth, there's actually some red flags, such
Really?
as acid reflux destruction,
yes.
grinding of the teeth. I look at their airway, their tongue size, and there's so many clues in the mouth. And it's a good way to start a conversation and
Sure.
plant a seed that maybe there's more going on.
So you notice something that the red flags go up, and you think, at least based on experience, that this is a sleep apnea issue.
Right.
Do you send them then to have the
Well,
sleep
it
test,
depends
or how do you?
there's several avenues. Some
Okay.
people come to me based on knowing that I do this and
Right.
they have tried CPAP and can't
Yes.
tolerate it. Or they come to me because their doctor referred them.
Okay.
Or they come to me because they snore and they want me to help them.
And the spouse has sent them, right?
Exactly. And then, of
I can
course,
relate.
yeah, then I have my patients. And what's funny is I say, do you snore? Oh, yeah, my wife says I do.
Yeah.
Well, have you ever heard of sleep apnea? I don't have that. I sleep just fine. They sleep all through the night, they say.
Right.
But they don't know what's going on as they're sleeping. They're not getting the restful sleep. So it's finally when usually the fatigue catches up with them,
Yes.
or their spouse makes them pursue it.
Right.
And then I help coordinate that.
Okay, so you've diagnosed and the person agrees. What happens next?
Well, once they get a diagnosis and we can see how severe their sleep apnea is, then we can see if they're a candidate for a CPAP or oral appliance.
Okay.
And, CPAP really is the gold standard
Yes.
of treatment, especially in severe cases. But the American Academy of Sleep Medicine has actually approved an oral appliance for mild to moderate sleep apnea,
Wow.
and in severe cases when the person will not use the CPAP at all.
Yes, I can relate because I've been on it. And it's very intrusive and everything else, and sometimes even breaks down or stops working and you have to take it in. Let's examine this a little bit. How do you get from the diagnosis to this device?
Well, after, we do a consult, and once you get that diagnosis, we go through just a further exam. I look at everything in the mouth, and we do some questionnaires, but it's mostly so that I can talk to your doctor. I send letters to all the physicians involved in your care.
Okay.
And we take impressions, upper and lower impression, and we measure how far you can move your jaw forward, because that is our goal. The goal is to move the lower jaw forward enough to keep your airway open all through the night. Keep your tongue and, all the muscles of your tongue and throat attach right here. So by pulling that forward and pulling those muscles tight,
you've opened up the airway.
You open up the airway.
Wow.
And more often than not, stop the snoring that goes along with it.
Okay, hope my wife is watching. That's her biggest complaint. She talks about my snoring and talking.
Yes.
And of course, I have no idea I'm doing that, but yeah.
Exactly. The best thing you can do is, if you suspect that you have sleep apnea or the person you're sleeping with has sleep apnea, is to just call. Pick up the phone. Even if you don't have a sleep study, even if you don't have a diagnosis and you haven't talked to your doctor about it, call. I work with doctors, I work with sleep labs, I keep everybody informed, and the most important thing is just getting help. You don't have to feel like this anymore.
And I think when I look at this, the smallness of it compared to the CPAP, which is a machine and a tube and a face mask and all of that, and I've got several of my contemporaries who are doing that.
Yeah. Well, you can imagine
I'm going to let them
going
know to watch this program because
you can imagine going through TSA with this.
Yes.
Versus the big backpack.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. This doesn't look like a bomb at all.
Excellent. Thank you. I've learned a lot, and I think our viewers have learned a lot as well. And as we have an aging baby boomer market, this kind of comes into play a lot more than the younger age, right?
Yeah. Yes. We definitely make jokes about snoring, and it's not really a laughing matter because there may be something more going on. But as we get older, that does catch up to us.
Thank you.
You're
Erin
welcome.
Elliott, your office is in Post Falls, and people can find you there, as well as on the internet. Learned a lot, and I think our audience did as well. Thank you for coming today.
Thanks for having me.
Over and peer inside your smart design.
Please join us next week on Let's Talk Spokane.